normal. Yeah, okay. I see you're screaming loud at what I said. You don't agree that a man who is not married cannot cheat. You don't agree, do you? Fatih? Yeah.
Yeah, talk.
You don't agree.
Yeah, I don't agree.
You don't agree?
Yeah.
You think a man who is not married can cheat?
What are you afraid of?
Okay, yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
You can cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can
what are
cheat.
the circumstances?
Okay, you see, based on morality, I'm sure we are going to, based on the fact that he's not married to you, so it would be normal if he cheats on you. But
Well, the word cheating is the context for cheating is that you are committed to one.
yes,
Therefore, you are not allowed
to
to
cheat.
engage with another
Another
in the
person.
same situation. If you are not married to somebody, you are not committed yet. You have a base and intention to commit. You may or may not commit.
Paul.
Yeah, please come in.
Yeah, Paul, but you see, in as much as marriage may probably be the only legally recognized commitment in the country, a
In the
relationship.
country?
I mean, in the world, in the world.
In the country.
A
Are you
relationship.
speaking law? Is that what? Are you speaking law?
I mean, you said that you
Yes.
have to commit, and
Commitment is marriage.
you can't
ubiquitous.
commit
Types of
without
marriage.
getting married.
But
It's ubiquitous.
say that again.
You can commit without getting married. I mean, if
How do you do
both
that?
agree to
How
be
do
in
you
a
do that? In
relationship.
what context do you do that?
So if you both agree to be in a relationship,
So that's a promise. That's just a promise. So the commitment is a promise.
No,
well, you
this
let
one is
these
not
boys
fair.
cheat.
No.
No,
not fair.
I want you to express yourself. It's not funny. I want you to express yourself on what you think.
Yeah.
You are young people and you are the future.
I mean, I genuinely believe that if two people come to an agreement that we're going to be in a relationship with each other exclusively and we're not going to see other people, that is a commitment. So it might not be marriage.
It's a promise.
Okay,
It's a-
it's
a
verbally
commitment that
binding.
it's a commitment that's recognized by only two people. So you cannot take any action on it. But
No,
if you
that
get
is
married,
true.
and that is why marriage is public, there are witnesses. The commitment must occasion a witness. So the act of marriage brings about witnesses. So then if I am married or you are married and you do something else, that's cheating. But a man who is not married is cheating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me come to Mikael. What's the
Yeah.
circumstances?
So for example, if marriage is the only context under which cheating can be established, then the other categories of relationships wouldn't exist. So there's polyamorous relationship where
What's
we
that?
a polyamorous relationship is where we've decided that we are with each other. We recognize that we are boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, but we're not exclusive. If I want to sleep with someone else, I can. So that's that category. There is a monogamous relationship where it's just the two of us. So if you're with someone else, you've
Monogamous
cheated.
where? Who said monogamous? So a promise to enter into a monogamous relationship. It's really what you're talking about. It's a promise.
Yes, but then, for example, cohabitation is a recognized form of living in a relationship. We're together. You sleep with someone else, you have cheated,
No,
you have broken.
cohabitation is slightly different. Cohabitation, I believe, speaks to the conduct. So sometimes in law they say that your conduct can demonstrate that you had a contractual relationship with another, even if you didn't have a paper contractual relationship. So cohabitation then brings about the conduct. If I have cohabiting with a lady, you usually find that abroad in England or in Italy or somewhere for 6 years. Yeah, you cannot say that that's not a marriage because your conduct has demonstrated that you are. So cohabitation is really different. But this is not cohabitation. You are in Sabah Hall, I'm in Water Hall. We are meeting. I like you like me. I promise that maybe when we finish school and I get a job and the job is good and it's paying me well, I will marry you.
The two of you have.
And then next time you see me, I'm in Legon Hall and you say, hey,
It's
you're cheating.
dishonesty. It's dishonesty. Dishonesty is cheating.
I need a more an articulate position on this, not laughter. So my
Okay.
girls are just laughing at it. They are not telling me anything. So
Okay.
can somebody tell me why you think cheating should be recognized in that context? So in the Sarkodie situation, if Sarkodie's girlfriend was abroad and he's 2 years
22
old
at the time.
he has a girlfriend who is abroad, okay, and he has something to do with Yvonne Nelson, he's cheated on who?
Yes.
Yes,
On
because
his girlfriend.
If he proceeded to marry Yvonne Nelson, what will the girlfriend do?
You see, but
Jilted
Paul,
him.
in as much as the girl is his girlfriend, that's verbal agreement there. So it's verbally like binding if you tell someone because that's a promise, that is me telling you that, okay, you can't be with someone else because I am going to be with you. That is you equally telling me that you are taking my time, my resources, my opportunities, because I can't equally be with someone else. I mean, you might not have been the best thing.
That's still promise to marry. You're still on the same thing. It's a promise to marry.
But
so you can sue on promise to marry when the promise is broken. You can sue on promise to marry when it's broken. We have many cases in the courts like that. But you can't sue on cheating when you are not married.
No.
Okay, I'm sure. All right, welcome back. So the viewers, you can make your own assessment on that one and make your own decision on that. What you think? If I've said something wrong, I apologize. But it's a view that I still hold. I was just talking about legal positioning, whether you can action something legally or not. Okay, if you are just joining us, thank you very much for your time. Welcome again to the show. This is Good Evening Ghana, and it's Thursday. And it's live. And today we have a spiritual dimension to the program. So when we do have a spiritual dimension, I get very excited. Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry is what I should have said, not Charismatic Evangelistic Mission. Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry. They are in the studio. They are our second story. Let's get out now to look at our first story. And it's about Assin North. We'll finish briefly because next Tuesday, hopefully we'll be live in Assin North as we were in Kumewu, and we'll bring you the full analysis and the full details. It's a birthday dedication to Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, two-term president of Ghana, two-time school leader, and a phenomenal Ghanaian who had a lot to contribute to the development of our Fourth Republic. Though you are no longer with us in person, your spirits and memories live on in the hearts of all Ghanaians. May your soul find eternal peace, and may your legacy continue to inspire us. Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, 1947 to 2020, a good servant of the Ghana Armed Forces and later on a servant of the people as initially a coup leader and later on elected president of Ghana. Good night to JJ Rawlings. May he rest in eternal peace, and happy birthday to the soul of the big man. All right, 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get straight to the Assin North conversation. Very quick one, and then we will come to the documentary on Dr. Bawumia, and after that we will have the church in. Sorry, we're a bit late. So this is JJ Rawlings, and this is the new candidate. So we will walk through the process. JJ Rawlings is the candidate for the NDC. Now, you know about him. He is the candidate that was elected in 2020, and a court case was filed against him relating to citizenship, something that we have seen before. It's not new. And it was said by the Supreme Court that he's unable to continue as Member of Parliament. However, he's qualified to contest the by-election because the processes and the dates have changed. So by the time that the by-election filing was being conducted, JJ Rawlings had completed the process of renouncing his Canadian citizenship. What happened to him in 2020 was that whereas he had begun the Canadian citizenship, he hadn't completed it. And if you have not completed, then it is not complete. Then you remain a Canadian citizen until you complete it. The citizenship does not whittle away a little bit and a little bit. It whittles away once. You take it once and it goes away once. So if you start the process, it hasn't gone. We don't take from it a little bit, a little bit. So you're half Canadian, quarter Canadian, 1/10 Canadian, and then 90% Ghanaian. No. So it happens only once. So that by the time he was filing, he wasn't qualified. He knew he wasn't qualified. He said that he was qualified. And that's why the Supreme Court said no. However, now he's running for the seat, and he's also in court anyway, but he's running for the seat. And out there, his campaign, as we are hearing, because we are preparing to go, so I asked reporters to tell me what's happening. What we're picking from there is that his main campaign is a campaign of sympathy. He says that the government doesn't like him and they wanted him out, and even though he's qualified, they still managed to let the Supreme Court say that he's not qualified. That's the propaganda we understand is going around. And he's actually campaigning for sympathy votes, which is fair. It's fair to do that. So he's campaigning for sympathy votes. Now, this other man, who is the New Patriotic Party candidate, is also very important in the equation. Now, why is he important in the equation? Because of how the first elections occurred. How JJ Rawlings defeated the MPP candidate. I'll show you the results in a minute. You will see that JJ Rawlings defeated the MPP candidate of 2020 in the constituency. But President Akufo-Addo defeated John Dramani Mahama in the presidential election, and that's why he's making this election very, very interesting. MPP believe that they would have won the seat if not for a few difficulties, which occurs almost every time in almost every constituency with the characterization of the parliamentary candidate. So they think that this was their seat. MPP think this was their seat. It was lost on some little matters. And those little matters they think they can resolve. I'll be showing you videos now of Chairman Wuntumi to show you how they are trying to resolve the matter. So this is the lady we are talking about. Intelligent, pretty lady, but it appeared that there were some difficulties with the situation. So she, being a very loyal servant of the MPP, decided that if she's the problem, then she will not run at all. So she didn't even pick forms. I think that the MPP leadership spoke with her and said that, you know, these chieftaincy issues, they are intractable, really. Some of the chieftaincy issues are actually intractable. You can't do anything about it. If you have caught in it, you're caught in it. Unfortunately for her, she was caught in it, and it affected the fortunes of her party. So she says that I'm not going to run anymore. I'm not interested. I'll step aside. I want the party to win. So the party should choose another candidate. And then they chose this candidate who comes from the same hometown in Breku, in Assin North, with Jachikwesin. So what the MPP is trying to do on Tuesday is to be able to split the votes out of Jachikwesin's stronghold. They've taken a candidate from there, who comes from there, who is actually registered elsewhere, but that's not against the law now, we know. He comes from Breku, and so they are putting him, pitching him against Jachikwesin, so that hopefully they can split some of the votes. Now, these are the two other important gentlemen. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, former president. In 2020, Nana Addo defeated John Dramani Mahama in this constituency, whereas the MPP lost the parliament. So the jury is out, or the stage is set, and we will be there for sure to bring it to you. So these are the important numbers. 2020 election, James Jachikwesin, he gets 17,498, and he picks up 55.21% of the votes. Abna Drowa Mensah, the lady that we're talking about, she picked up 14,193 and picks up 44% of the votes. Now see what happens in the presidential election in the next slide. Here's the presidential election results. You can see Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo picks up 16,067 votes, representing 50.81% of the votes. And John Dramani Mahama picks up 15,000, particularly close, very close, 15,014 votes, representing 47.48% of the votes. So in a situation like that, it's open, isn't it? It's going to be an open contest. It's not clear who is going to win. Now, though, the MPP have picked a candidate from Breku in the hometown of Jachikwesin. So they are hoping to split up the vote in Jachikwesin's hometown, and then hopefully they can gather some interest. Jachikwesin is hoping to hold on to his votes. Everybody is in Assin. President Mahama is there, MPP leadership are there, Wontumi is there, Jachikwesin is there. So Wontumi went in there. My man. I admire Chairman Wontumi. Forgive me. I admire his tenacity. I admire his resolve. I admire his energy, and I admire his understanding of politics. I was speaking to Usubimpa earlier this evening. He said that, Paul, look, Wontumi is the producer of our time. Nobody can change that. And he's in Assin North. He's giving me the information from the MPP angle. I've seen text messages that have been forwarded by Sami Jemfi and others on the phone, and Sami Jemfi was referring to MPP buying votes. I've seen the video. I forwarded the video to other people. They are checking it, and they will let me know what happened. There's some track of some sharing fertilizers, and NDC complained that is vote buy. So we are keeping our eyes on Assin. Let's look at this video where Wontumi is in Breku, the hometown of Jachikwesin, and is celebrating the fact that the MPP have also picked the candidates from there, and he's dancing with the people of Breku. Have a look. All right, so you heard Chairman Wontumi over there. You saw him, you saw Chairman Wontumi, and he was talking about his dancing to the jubilation in Breku. Let's see another video in which Chairman Wontumi again goes to church with the candidates, and then we'll show you another interesting video of, you heard about some accident, unfortunate accident occurred in the place. We'll find out what happened in some detail. But here's Wontumi again in a church with the candidates. That was Chairman Woon to me again. He was preaching. Now, this is the other story, and this video is about 3 minutes long. It's coming up soon. So, there was an accident in the constituency. I think President Mahama's convoy or some NDC people were involved in an unfortunate accident. President Mahama was in the hospital, sort of commiserating with them. We saw those videos. However, somebody unfortunately died. It's a very unfortunate story, but one person died. It is being reported that after the person died, the MPP team led by Wontumi went straight to the person who was dead and tried to commiserate with the family, and it has given the MPP some good politics over there. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but it's important that people go and commiserate with somebody who's lost a life in the political circumstances. So it was very, very useful that Chairman Wontumi went there to do that. It may give the MPP some sympathy votes, it may make the people feel MPP is good, but it may not. But whatever it is important that Chairman Wontumi did what he did. Have a look.
Obayi na nesi dai. Ano wawu. Achina me blamu 50 bags of cement. Yewra cha sopoku. Yewra cha sopoku say mamu 50 bags of cement. Afei yes, Abramu 2 packets of roofing sheet. And chance here the boss. Yeah, Abramu 2 packets. Because I was selling man. Also, Munya baby. And that way, no. The best abwa woman. I'm managing us so. Oh, my video.
I mean, so what's the papa? I mean, not this year.
Also, they discovered him at the hospital. Actually, I'm going I feel the hospital in the bar. You say you ratch as a poor quiet. You will be a Chairman to me. Many Tasso never bought me. Yes, I know the warfare. The warfare. It's disaster.
I know then papa. That is MPP for you. Yes.
There also be also so. You ratch as a poku say. I had a Dakar with the Munadiacom. And they are Mima Musica with the Dakar. They didn't go to Modena. I feel Evracha Sopoku say. Evracha Sopoku say. Miss Amamu 50 million and found 2 actually. Say, yeah, and she said, be a near movie, be as a solo. Over to me, yeah. I can't be a watch the piano. I can't be a watch the piano. Evracha Sopoku say, the Rafacano. You send rap, they no need to clue a fool. No background, and the cruise in my own cock. I know, say, or Conway Cocker. O drew yarn a yarn with the cotton, pick up a top. I'm 2 kind of woman who fit on and the corn wall for. Young Rochas of Poku say, the way in Yinachi. Or slow trade young poor Yanko said. So I have one beer. More Yanko Shabonia or yeah, soon French Yanaka. One Shankwara or Muwetney. One Shayaja Abraham. As the Kirijo Coposo. No fan of so in our channel. Not die, dear children. Say yes, Christo Bar. Was sorry no would say for near as a phone in our cabum, yet Yakushia, your rather. And Tabusia Tasopoku say, Monkuma Makuma to him. A Bushian, a bayam of Bushia. Mammy Tasopoku say Fanayaba. Or say Fanayaba, or so to Promo Haya. Promo Haya, the Tasopoku take. Omreku, Okofu, Awa, Sampana yet, Anna, a yak crane, Basabe Hadia, there be a higher Rudia.
Was Chemaun to be preaching? Yeah, he was. So this Charles Opoku that Chemaun to me was talking about, this is the candidate of the New Patriotic Party. This is Jachi Kwesin. They're going to face off on Tuesday in a major way in the Assin North by-election. Good luck to both candidates. It's 20 minutes to the top of the hour. As I said, we'll go back to do the Bawumia documentary. It's 20 minutes long. After that, charismatic evangelistic ministry is here with us. But here is what we put together about Dr. Bawumia's life history, about his chances of winning the MPP Congress, about why his supporters think he has a better chance, and the role of Samira Bawumia as well. Have a look. Last Friday, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahamadou Bawumia, returned the nomination forms that was collected on his behalf by his supporters earlier in the week. He returned the forms to the leadership of the New Patriotic Party, signifying the formal beginning of his ambition to lead the New Patriotic Party. And wasn't this a grand occasion? The crowd, the numbers, the good politics of a bus ride instead of showing a fleet of Land Cruisers all combined to create the appearance of a new beginning. What is this new beginning? Well, Bawumia supporters say that it will be the first time that a non-Akan candidate of the MPP is showing a formidable candidature. He's already said to be leading in the polls, and Dr. Bawumia is thought of as the best campaigner among the lot. But how did the NPP get here? Well, whether by providence or by design, the NPP has always been led by an Akan candidate. Name them Dankwa, Buzia, Owusu, Oforiata, Edubuahin, Kofo, Akufo-Addo. So how come this happened? Well, the story would have been different if one of these three men had been more ambitious. This is the story about Kwame Nkrumah, Bafo Sakoto, and SD Dombo. The story is told on page 53 of the book K.A. Buzia, A Symbol of Democracy. Is written by Anania J and is forwarded by President J.A. Kufuor. Now the story begins with the actions of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah recorded in the first paragraph of page 53 of the book, and is as follows. In 1957, the government enacted a law called the Avoidance of Discrimination Act. The act, which came into effect on 31st December 1957, stated, among other things, an act to prohibit organizations using or engage in tribal, regional, racial, or religious propaganda to the detriment of any other community, or securing the election of persons on account of their tribal, regional, or religious affiliation, and for other purposes connected therewith. The book continues. All political parties apart from the CPP would have been disbanded because of the majority of their parties were either regional based or had religious affinities. In September 1957, about 3 months before the commencement of the act, the smaller parties coalesced into a unified entity called the United Party, UP. That, according to Mr. C.K. Tedem, a founding member of the UP, was a safeguard of total collapse of multi-party democracy in Ghana. The opposition parties anticipated that Nkrumah intended to make Ghana a one-party state, which he did eventually, and entrench himself as life president. The parties that constituted the UP included the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, ARPS, the Anlon Youth Organization, AYO, the Gadangbe Shifimokwe, GASK, the Ghana Congress Party, GCP, the Muslim Association Party, MAP, the National Liberation Movement, NLM, the Northern People's Party, NPP, and the Togoland Congress, TCP. So at the end of the elections, all of these parties now knew how many members they had contributed to the United Party. It was clear and mathematically obvious that the Northern People's Party, led by SB Dombo and Mumuni Bawumia, had won more seats among the smaller parties than any other group of people, including the NLM. To that extent, the leader of the minority in parliament was naturally to come from the Northern People's Party. But something else happened, recorded in the last paragraph of page 53 of the book, as follows. A remarkable feature about Buzia's appointment as leader of the UP in parliament was the trait of selflessness that the leaders of the various opposition parties demonstrated in making Buzia their new leader. Of the parties that merged, the Northern People's Party, the NPP, had the highest number of seats in the National Assembly, and their leader, Simon Diodong Dombo, could have remained leader of the minority in the assembly. Considering Dombo's previous position and the fact that his party was the minority party with the highest number of seats in parliament, he, Dombo, could have been the automatic leader of the new party. More so, he had the requisite qualities for holding office. However, he, Dombo, realized that Buzia had extra attributes such as exposure and influence and clout, which would better serve the interest of the party and the country. Dombo, therefore, entrusted the leadership of the opposition to Buzia. That act of Dombo has earned him a respectable position in the UP tradition now known as Dankwa Dombo Buzia tradition, and the members talk passionately of Dombo's selflessness. So the matter seems settled in some people's minds. There was Dankwa, whose side of the party has been ably represented by Pa Willie and Nana Akufo-Addo. And then there was Buzia, who was actually presented as an Ashanti candidate under the inspiration of the great Bafo Sakoto, who shares a paternal relationship of sorts with President JJ Kufuor. In fact, Mr. Kufuor has often called Buzia his political mentor. So, Kufuor represented the Buzia part of the tradition. Now, they say that in spite of his selflessness, Dombo has not found a protege. So people think when some people say Edrumiso, it should have more to do with the Dombo part of the tradition than about anyone else. Well, all that may be emotional and cosmetic. So there is another group that advances the arguments for Dr. Bawumia. They have drawn their strength from data. They say that the geographic Ghana shows a clear distribution of votes since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. They said that for the MPP to win elections for the third time or break the eight, they, the MPP, will necessarily need to take portions of traditional NDC areas whilst they work hard to unite and keep their base. They make the point that compared to President Liman, Vice President and President Mahama, they believe that Dr. Bawumia has given the North a clear, competent turnout even with his role as Vice President. They also make the point that if the contest falls between Dr. Bawumia and President Mahama, many young people from the North across the country would want to secure a third presidency for the North by electing Dr. Bawumia. So there will be Dr. Liman, President Mahama, and Dr. Bawumia. On the other hand, if the young Northerners elect President Mahama, they would have had only two, Dr. Liman and President Mahama, which they actually already have. After all, the Ashantis have only J.A. Kufuor. Maybe we could add a Champong and Afrifa, but maybe not. The Evers have JJ Rawlings. The Fantis have Professor J.E.A. Mills, and the Achims have Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. If the MPP gives the North the opportunity to have a third presidency, then Bawumia supporters say all the young Northerners will vote MPP all the way.
They know John Mahama cannot take me on in the North. I will beat him in the North. I will beat him in the North. Anyway, they know the Zongos will change. Bahakamani. the circles will change. And even Volta, we will get something from there. So, I know this is why they don't want me to be flag bearer. You the NDC, you want to select our flag bearer for us. How can you hear that?
But politics is not only about tribe. It's about competence, suitability, and marketability. So, in that regard, who is Dr. Bawumia? Dr. Bawumia was fathered by a politician named Mumuni Bawumia.
We now have the arrival of the chairman of the Council of States, Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia.
He, Mumuni, together with SD Dombo, founded and led the Northern People's Party in early politics. Their fundamental interest was to secure development for the Northern Territories. They wanted the matters that concerned the North to be heard. They loved their people. Mumuni Bawumia became a minister in the Second Parliament of the First Republic. In that regard, nature has played out an interesting scenario. If Dr. Bawumia becomes the MPP candidate for 2024, he will be contesting John Mahama directly as opponent for the first time. But many decades ago, their fathers, John Mahama's father and Dr. Bawumia's father, sat in the same cabinet here in Ghana in 1965.
The Second Parliament of the First Republic, August 24, 1965. Members of the Executive and Officers of Parliament. His Excellency Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, President and Commander-in-Chief. Honorable Kojobo Tio, Chairman, State Planning Commission. Honorable N.A. Welbeck, Minister of State for Party Propaganda. Honorable Imoro Igala, Minister for Industry. Honorable L.R. Abavana, Minister of the Interior. Honorable Kofi Bakun, Minister of Defense. Honorable E.K. Bensa, Minister of Works. Honorable A.J. Dowuna Hammond, Minister of Communications. Honorable E.N. Okansi, Minister of Parks and Gardens. Honorable E.A. Mahama, Minister of Animal Husbandry. Honorable Hans Kofi Boni, Minister of Food and Nutrition. Honorable Mumuni Bawumia, Minister of Local Government. Honorable F.E. Techi Menson, Minister of Housing.
And say, isn't that the case? They'll say, but if MPP selects Dr. Bawumia, campaign no, I told you. They know the campaign is over. So they will be in trouble. They know we will break the gates.
Mumuni Bawumia returned to active politics in the Fourth Republic as chairman of the Council of State, a position he held when JJ was president. Thus, Mumuni Bawumia shared political space with the NDC, JJ Rawlings and Mrs. Rawlings. How do we interpret this? Supporters of Dr. Bawumia say given the senior Bawumia's huge image in the North, associated with his deep service to the CPP and the NDC, Dr. Bawumia is the best candidate to draw votes from the Nkrumahist and the NDC people who trusted his father's politics. And will there be people in the North who like Mumuni Bawumia's politics? Oh yes, there will be many. But the story doesn't end there. A very basic assessment of parliamentary figures from the northern regions since 2008 will show that the MPP have moved from closing the gap on the NDC in the north to actually overtaking the NDC with the total number of seats from the 3 northern regions. Unbelievable, but here are the details. In election 2008, of 230 seats in parliament with 26 in the northern regions, the NDC won 21, whereas the MPP won only 4. That was the NDC winning the northern regions over the MPP by 80.7%. That was Bawumia's first time as running mate. Then in 2012, the seat had become 31 in the northern region as it is now. NDC got 20, MPP got 10, an independent candidate got 1. That was NDC winning by 64.5%. Then in 2016, when the MPP won a landslide victory, results were as follows. Out of 31 seats, NDC won 18, NPP won 13. That was NDC winning by 58.0%. Then comes the big one, 2020, and the MPP goes ahead of the NDC by gaining the lead in the 3 northern regions over the same 31 seats as follows. Northern region, NDC wins 9 seats, MPP wins 9 seats. Savannah region, NDC wins 4 seats, MPP win 3 seats. Northeast region, NDC win 2 seats, MPP win 4 seats. Altogether, now in the 3 northern regions, the New Patriotic Party is in a commanding lead. They have 16 seats and the NDC have 15 seats, coming from the NDC's lead of 80% in 2008. That means after 4 election cycles since Dr. Bawumia became vice president on the MPP ticket, he has drawn down the NDC's leadership of 80% in the north to now lead the NDC. This is phenomenal. Can one also say that in the same election cycle process, John Mahama has led the NDC to whittle down its 80% lead in the north to now be behind the MPP? Well, the jury is out on that one. Some may also say that there is no scientific correlation to the MPP's success in the north and the work of Dr. Bawumia. Well, that may be true, but they must show how else the MPP has been able to beat the NDC in the north, especially in 2020's election, because in that election, the NPP were losing parliamentary seats all across the country, but in the north, they were gaining. In fact, it stands to reason that if the MPP had not done so well in the north in the 2020 elections, today the NDC may have had majority in parliament. So Dr. Bawumia's strength in turning around the north is obvious. They say that is why the NDC is afraid of him. But how did Dr. Bawumia gain so much credence in only 16 years in real politics? It was about this. Now, Dr. Bawumia is an economist and he had been with the central bank and he had become a politician. Between 2008 and 2012, he had introduced a kind of new narrative to the Ghanaian political discourse. And this was about heavy reliance on data. Dr. Bawumia had been doing a lot of political talk with data, and that was very new to the Ghanaian people. Historically, politicians do not rely a lot on data. They rely on personality, advocacy, etc., etc. But here was a great advocate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who had also introduced this data matter that a lot of the youth were jumping onto. So he had achieved sufficient believability among Ghanaians with his excessive reliance on data. When it was said that he was going to be the key witness for the petitioners, it raised the stakes of this case, and so the case was actually getting bigger. And this was the election petition. This event turned out to show Bawumia as famously competent, very articulate, A fighter for what he believes in, a respectful and very confident young man. By the time the petition was over, almost every young person in Ghana wanted their son to be like Bawumia. Indeed, Dr. Bawumia got the election petition right.
Let us put down my analysis and show me one repeated polling station in my analysis. If you are afraid of the truth, then of course you will hide behind these exhibit numbers. Dr. Bawumia, I'm sorry. It's not a free fight. Just state your answer to it without any bukum blows. Yeah, but my lord, with the greatest respect, I do not think we can treat this lightly.
After the election petition, it became obvious that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia would be the key spokesperson for the MPP for the 2016 campaign. And whoa, did he not?
So, tell him I came to his hometown and he should answer the 170 questions. They have mismanaged this country and their incompetence and corruption has resulted in wahala for everybody. So I'm asking all of you to rise up and let's change this country together. We are going to transform this country and all of us are going to benefit, and the future is for the youth of this country. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you.
The campaign ended in victory and Dr. Bawumia was sworn in as the Vice President of the Republic. Currently, opponents of Dr. Bawumia have tried to mount a lot of political dirt on him. They have tried to say that Dr. Bawumia is responsible for the economic challenges that Ghana now faces. They have even called him a liar. But Bawumia supporters will respond sharply. They say that if one can take an economy at 3.4% growth from John Mahama in 2016, grow it in 17, 18 and 19 and 20 and grow it very well, then no one can complain after Dr. Bawumia after COVID and after Russia-Ukraine war. For in fact, they say that the figures of 17, 18 and 19 show that Dr. Bawumia's economics was working until COVID. Here is Ken Oforiatta presenting the concluding part of Budget 2019.
We have passed a fiscal responsibility to entrench fiscal discipline. We have reduced the fiscal deficit. We have established a fiscal council. We have issued a Eurobond with the largest tenor issuance, least cost, and largest subscription. We have reduced the rate of debt accumulation. We have reduced the overall tax burden on Ghanaians. We have reduced benchmark values by 50%.
So, they say, Bawumia economics works once there is no COVID and major global issues. For indeed, Dr. Bawumia, they say, added nurses and teacher training allowance to the national budget. He added free SHS to the national budget and yet grew the 3.4 economy to 8% and maintained it until COVID. Well, Ghanaians will be the best judge on this matter. But doesn't the opposition believe that the current circumstances are global in nature?
I do think we must also look at the realities of the world situation, the global financial crisis and all that. Our economy is still fragile. This year, we have revised figures downwards because of the developments in the international markets. You know, China has slowed down, affecting the whole international financial market. Our world has become an increasingly complex one and unpredictable. Majority of economies around the world are sailing against strong headwinds. The world economic crisis and the slowdown in the growth of the Chinese economy has affected the growth of emerging markets and has resulted in a fall in world demand for commodities.
Well, if that was historical, this one is current.
A lot of the economic turmoil that we've just been talking about and that we're seeing around the world is, of course, as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. African countries have largely avoided taking sides on the issue. At the United Nations, Ghana, along with Kenya and Gabon, voted to condemn Russia, but then, of course, Ghana abstained on the vote to remove Russia from the UN Human Rights Council. In your view, were those the right decisions made by the current administration?
I think that it's a period of adversity for the whole world because it's triggering a kind of global recession as a result of the tensions that have been created. But at the same time, it must create some opportunities for Africa.
Oh yes, but when it's time for politics, it's time for politics.
For emphasis, the biggest blame for the current tragic situation in which we find ourselves lies with the very people charged with managing the country and not with the pandemic, not with any war in any country, as has been unprofessionally posited. And Ghana has been treated as an experimental playground or a family heirloom. And I regret to say this was all avoidable.
Now the internal MPP contest is here. Dr. Bawumia could win. At least he leads in the polls. To do so, he must win 2 contests clearly. First the super delegates, and next the main contest, in which he must win an outright 50% plus 1, or else the contest will go into a second round. His supporters say that they are working for a united 70% of votes to further unite the party. Dr. Bawumia may have key party people supporting him, but what fascinates many of his supporters is the real political capabilities of his wife, Hajia Samira Bawumia. Do you remember this?
Yes, the youth of this country, we are saying to the NDC that we see you all right. You want us to see you? We see you, but we see incompetence. We see you, but we see corruption. We see you, but we see mismanagement. We see you, but we see bad governance. We see you, but we want change. We see you, but we want Ghana to move forward. That is why I have decided, and all the youth of this country, and all the well-meaning people of this country are saying, we need an incorruptible leader. We need a competent leader.
Well, if the MPP elects Dr. Bawumia, there sure will be more of Samira and the Samira vibe. Good luck to the Vice President and all the other candidates. May they remember to have a clean campaign. As someone said, John Mahama is the only opponent they have, and they must be wise about that. Until then, good luck. And Divinity has joined us in the studio. Reverend Steve Mensah is here. And Doc, please remind me of your name.
Fred Noah.
Fred Noah is here as well. And Reverend Steve is ably supported by his wife, who is not on screen, and his team. They're all here. And we feel blessed that when Divinity walks into your studio, you know that is very important. Rev, should we start with the video first so people can get the context? And right. then we can have you explain it. Okay, so here's the video about it's about Ability Village. We'll tell you a lot more about it. This is about our 3rd interview in 3 years about this. So it's a serious project. Here's the video. It's 3 minutes long. Have a look.
Persons living with disabilities prompted Reverend Dr. Steve Mensah and the CEM to launch a flagship program dubbed The Day of Help, a day set aside each year to provide persons with disability with financial, medical and social support to ease their plight. Over the years, more than 200,000 individuals have been touched and supported using the annual Day of Help program. Support has included a wide range of on-site and off-site medical attention, counseling, provision of supplies including mattresses, wheelchairs, white canes, soap, buckets, food items, liquid soap and many more. As indicated, a clinic is set up on the very day where over 150 medical personnel, including general practitioners, pharmacists, physiotherapists, ophthalmologists, and dentists, take care of thousands of patients who come through the clinic. From consultation through to pharmacy, all services rendered are free to the patients. There is also the medical mission phase, where persons with disability who need surgical operations are screened and scheduled for surgeries. Over the past 7 years, Day of Help has made tremendous contributions and impact across the country. CEM and its partners spend more than 2 million Ghana cedis each year. There is, however, more to be done. We have the responsibility to support and encourage persons with disability to realize their dream and live fulfilled lives. This requires a long strategic plan to help transform the lives of persons with disabilities.
The dream to stand with persons with disability goes beyond the piecemeal approach that we have done so far. Today, we set the ball rolling for what is next. And to get us started, I'd like to invite Mr. Fred Noah, Chief Executive Officer of Cornerstone Capital, Pastor, Project Lead, and Director for CEM. Please put your hands together for him.
The desire to lead a productive and independent life is a universal human need. However, for people living with a disability, this desire can be compromised by a physical, medical, or mental condition.
I am reliably informed that the SEM Ability Village is building an empowerment center to provide technical and vocational education and training and other skills training to address employment challenges, an ultra-modern hospital to cater for the specific needs of persons with disability, a technology center to focus on software development and hardware assembly and repair, advocacy, counseling, guidance, and information service, assisted living, and affordable.
Welcome back to the show. So, Reverend Steve, for somebody who is seeing this for the first time, what should he make of it? Was Ability Village, or will Mr. Fred Noah take that question? What's Ability Village? What's the concept behind it?
Well, as you just saw on the screen, that's what, of course, for the past 9 years or so, we've been doing across the country, and we realized that a time has come when we should just move past the piecemeal approach and now build a city where these people can be housed, hospitalized, and taken care of, empowered to be able to develop their skills and contribute to society. So we are moving forward with just the Day of Help into building the CEM Ability Village.
I have a question on the Day of Help, but let me come to you, Mr. Fred Noah. The Vice President was in the video. He launched it, and the program that's being advertised all over the world is also that he's coming.
Yes.
You know, religion and politics, is it in honor of a political party? Is it, what is the political relationship with this?
Well, this is about humanity. Persons with disabilities are just like you and I. We are all born the same. It's just that they have a physical, challenge, maybe a mental challenge, and they need special care. And everybody has to put his hands to the plow. So whether you are an Ashanti, a Ga, a Krobo, a Christian, a Muslim, whatever your background, when it comes to addressing the needs of persons with disabilities, we are all one.
So there's nothing political about that.
Nothing at all.
Okay, let's move on. The Day of Help, which many people have benefited from. People are watching this and see that there's groundbreaking and there's attention is going to go on that. But so many people benefit from the Day of Help. I know that people are given health care, their surgeries are paid for, the wheelchairs are given, basic amenities for all of those people who cannot work because they are unhealthy, they have disability. So they are very basic. You supply them with buckets, with cups, with bowls, with slippers, and all of that. And I know Mrs. Steve Mensah leads on all of those things. Now, they are sitting down and watching, oh, now we're out. Reverend Steve is the big people. They're going to build a big place. It will take them 3 years to finish. They are not going to look after us anymore. Reverend Steve, what do you say to people like that?
It's not going to happen at all. We are going to build a village and still continue with our day of health. As of now,
going to continue.
Yeah, as of now, we are preparing for Brong-Ahafo region, and we are preparing feverishly. It's going to be a very huge outreach, and then we are going to have the day of health from the 16th of October to the 22nd of October.
No, but 2 years from now, will you still do day of health?
Yes, day of health will be every year until Jesus comes.
And you'll be moving it from different locations.
We want to visit all the 16 regions and districts until we are able to touch as many lives as we can. There are about 4 to 7 million disabled people in our country. It's not easy to reach out to all of them.
Okay, I mean, it's a difficult question for you to answer because you have to do the ability village at a certain place. But why in Ningo Pram? Maybe, Mr. Noah, it sounds like you're from there.
Well, in terms of the location, we had to look for a place where the land was fairly flat. So it would make it easier for construction and the movement of persons with disabilities. So we are not just congregating them in just one place. The vision is to do Greater Accra and then move to other regions as well. And possibly the rest of Africa can also follow. So it's just about the suitability of the grounds. That's why we are there.
That's why you're not in Ningo Pram.
Shai Osu Doku is the border, you know.
Oh,
so
between Ningo and Shai.
Yes.
Ah,
yes,
I see. Shai Osu Doku.
Yes.
Okay. So now give us the information. What's going to happen on 24th June?
Well, like you said, we invited His Excellency, who has been part of our Day of Help over the years, supported us in tremendous ways. And since he's in government now, we felt that it would be very prudent for him to come and help with the groundbreaking because of the interest, the keen interest he has shown. So he'll be there to build up grounds and then lay the first brick, plant a tree, and then we declare the project started. Exactly 2 weeks to a month, we hit the ground running, and I'm believing God to show drone shots of houses, hospitals being built within a year or two.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Who else is part of this apart from the Vice President?
Honorable Natoshi will be there, Minister for Gender will be there, the Greater Accra Regional Minister maybe, and then the police, Dampari.
Yes.
We invited all these people, other men of God, bishops will be there, and so many of our dignitaries. We've also invited companies, organizations who will also be there. We've stretched our membership, and we know that if they will respond to it, you will see a whole lot of people, companies, organizations. Toyota will be there, Fanais, Coca-Cola. We invited all of them.
Do we have a budget, a bill? Do we know how much, or it keeps going as we expand?
I mean, the project?
Yeah, the project
size. The first phase, which is about 500 acres, will cost about $418 million. Yes.
Half a billion?
Yes. We know that somebody can just write one check and the whole place
By
will
the
go.
grace of God.
There are billionaires across the world.
Absolutely. So we should make this global. So you're going to have a website and all of that?
Well, we have websites and all of that. We have offices across the shore. We are believing God. You know that there are footballers, there are film stars, and so many people who have a lot of money. And 2 or 3 of them will just come together and write one check, and the place is built.
By the grace of God. I have to tell you an interesting story. The other day, I was walking in an airport in America last year, and I thought I'd seen you.
All right.
So I said, why is he listening to something in his ear? Reverend Steve. I got there. And he turned. I said, Reverend Steve. He said, oh, this is Stanley. I said, oh, Reverend Stanley. He said, you know Steve? I said, oh, yes. Then he looked at me and said, are you Paul? I said, yes. He said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm going to preach for Reverend Agomed. I said, oh, he was my best friend in Legon.
Oh, okay.
So Reverend Kranchankra is there. I said, yes, I'm going to preach for them. I'm coming from another state. I just get excited when I see the way the charismatic gospel has expanded.
Okay.
Many years ago, I sat in ICGC and Reverend Otabel said something that turned out to be prophetic.
Okay.
And when he first said it, the people in the church didn't respond. Because I think they didn't believe it and they didn't like it.
Okay.
He said that. He was making a series of confessions. And then he said that we are going to build a church. The headquarters will be in Ghana and the branches will be in America. And when they transfer you to go to America, you will think it's a punishment. Say amen. But that's what has happened today.
It has happened.
It has happened. I've been here when people have called and said, oh, Charlie, your man has been transferred to America. I said, oh! And I remember Reverend Otabel. Today, everybody wants to be in the headquarters.
Yes.
That's where the strength of the churches.
Yes.
And some churches from Ghana even send money to the American churches to
a
help
lot.
them grow.
We also do the same.
And I think it's amazing what God has done with this charismatic mission. So
movement.
I believe that global millionaires will look at this and say, look, let's take this money to Ghana to work. But viewers, you know that behind every man there's a woman. I'd like to show you the little video of Mrs. Mensah, Reverend Mrs. Mensah. Yeah, there she is. Hello, ma'am. We can see you. And thank you very much for the work you've been doing behind Rev. I mean, I know him as a walking Bible. Way back. I mean, you could crisscross the stage at the central cafeteria and just recite it. And it just comes like that. And sometimes we want him to make a mistake. So as soon as he says it, we are checking them. We say, hey, it's correct. We say, we know we are coming out, we're the other side. So we go to central cap, he's coming. Today you make a mistake. He says, Corinthians, hey, check. And we say, hey, it is there. So we know that without your support, all of this wouldn't have happened. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Norma, is there something we have left? You have to acknowledge the people who are supporting us with this project.
Yes, I think that we need to, commend the government for their support for this project. We also need to commend Honorable Natoshi.
Our own Irene.
Yes.
Sister Irene.
Yes.
She's been supporting the church in many ways,
exactly.
many charismatic missions.
So we are very grateful for that kind of support, because what we are doing is a huge project. It's a project that touches lives of people, and these are the people who are supporting us. Various donors, the charismatic church itself, CEM members, they have supported this Ability Village, up to now. We have now opened it up for everybody to join us to make a change.
Let's see the slides. A few slides that we can see about Ability Village, so we can, if it's ready, maybe they'll get it. They will get it for us very quickly. Can it come here, please? Brian, do you think you can put it here? All right. So can you put it on this TV so people can see? Okay, great. So please, this is very important. So donate today to the Same Ability Village, and the number is on the screen, the MTN mobile number. So viewers, please look at it. If we have 100,000 viewers tonight and 10,000 of them decide to donate 10,000, we are getting somewhere. The Lord will bless us for it. The Bible says that give and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaking together, running over, shall men be caused to give unto your bosom. So let's give to that. Divinity is in the studio, so we have all been affected. So donate to the SEMA. I think this is a great idea. I mean, we hear churches doing things all the time. This one is really groundbreaking. This is a church going to satisfy the part of society that we don't even think about, the part that we don't even look at, the part that Jesus Christ came to cleanse. But since Jesus Christ cleansed, they have still been produced. And it's our responsibility as the salt of the earth to be able to continue the work of Jesus Christ. So this thing that SEM is doing is very, very divine, and all of us must give our support to it. Remember, what was your last word on this show?
Like we rightly said, want to encourage civil society, companies, organizations. You shouldn't just give us money. They should come there and build some of the units. Banks and companies can come. And
or they can take one and build.
And they can even brand it or name what they are building after their own company, and it's allowed. We just want the place built. And we are looking at 2,000 acres, 9,000 homes, and 69,000 families.
9,000 homes?
Yes.
And 69,000 families?
Yes, because 2,000 acres.
You have 2,000 acres of land?
No, we are buying. They're giving it to us, so we are paying.
Okay.
We are close to about 500 acres. They are offering us another 820 acres. We are believing God to buy them.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. That's why we are opening it up. And we thank you, because last time we came here, before we realized you dropped $1,000, and as we were coming, we were saying that maybe today we'll get $2,000.
As the Lord gives us strength by the grace of God. Okay, thank you very much. Viewers, on that note, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the program. This is Good Evening Ghana. It's live, and it's 23 minutes past 10 o'clock.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
JA Plant Food Ghana Limited has introduced the all-new Jetto X70 Plus to the market. Jetto X70 Plus is a modern, spacious family SUV with a stylish design, advanced technology, and outstanding quality that promises you luxury with affordability. Jetto X70 Plus comes with an exceptional engine warranty of 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, giving you the ultimate peace of mind for years to come. And our dedicated service center at JA Plant Food offers you a wide range of car services and world-class customer support. Be exclusive and outstanding. Get yourself the all-new Jetto X70 Plus. Get in touch with JA Plant Food Ghana Limited on 020-0000-831 or info@japlantfoodgh.com. Visit japlantfoodgh.com for more information.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Just imagine grabbing all you want on an exact same spot. Plethora of goods on display. Clothing, textile, ceramics, food, good music, and many more at the same time. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, is organizing the Chamber Bazaar 2023. Theme, harnessing business potential through trade fair and exhibition. Make a date with us from Thursday 29th of June to Saturday 1st of July 2023. We're all converging at the forecourt of the World Trade Center, Ridge, Accra. Time 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Booth rate for exhibitors. SME rate 500 Ghana cedis. Corporate rate 1,500 Ghana cedis. For further information, please call 050-126-0141 or 020-435-5220. Sponsors: Ghana Accent Bank, Prefirst Limited, Petrosol, Francasen Limited, and B5 Plus Group. Media partner, Metro TV. The Chamber Bazaar 2023. You can't afford to miss out.
Yamawakwaba, the button Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie, a bando KSC near Wakadia. Ubenya Biabiwaha. Kabian in the house, any new here. Yansu ye wo hwenim de fu a obeso anu yi ama. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye dwumedie de. Eye 24/7 o. Ye siesie wo engine, wo brake, battery, yesesa wo tire. Se ba no car wash de a. Ye wo abefun fidie bi ti se steamer ye de horo car engine abra nsuo nko engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre se ye betwetwe car no mu ba bia ama. Ye wi a ya san polish car na ma o kama. Enye we no monko ye san to car batteries, tires, rims, any the keke count. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories Emma Oka and Sine Dadem, then where you mamma. Shisha Yechida Quine wa dansuma na sorry down who are any KFC boy henimu e one crime. So open information and answer Bisebia. Press 024-651-9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. O quine so young papa.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for your time. And let me take the text messages as I get ready for my touchscreen presentations. We have decided that for lack of time, we will postpone the sports. I was talking to Ibrahim, and I was telling him that the sports presentation, we have a very important sports presentation on the Premier League, what's happening, which player is going where, how is the Manchester United sale going. But I was just telling him that let's wait until Tuesday, because by the time we come on Tuesday, some deals would have been completed. Then I turned on my phone and the Mason Mount deal seems to have been completed. 60 million for Chelsea, 200,000 a week for him. He's off to the Old Trafford. By 1st July, he'll be a Manchester United player. He's going to play in the midfield with Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno Fernandes. What a midfield we'll have. Who goes to the Old Trafford next season to see what happens there. Okay, let me come to the text messages. And then Al-Hassan Bello has reports for us from how the Nigerian government is picking up. Videos were shared recently when Tinubu, the Nigerian president, met Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, together with Aliko Dangote, who is the richest man in Africa. It was an interesting meeting they had, but Bello will update us on how Tinubu is getting around with his government in terms of appointing people and what is happening. Something we started last week, but he's built it up better. So Bello will come in soon. At 29 minutes on top of that, 11 o'clock, let me come to you, Manuela. What are people saying?
All right, thank you very much, Paul. So Nana Harrison also says, is there any current opinion polls on the Assin North elections? I think we've already dealt with that. Abubakar says, my favorite show on TV, God bless you, Apostle Paul. God bless you too, Abubakar. Abakar from Tamale says, Mr. Paul, the documentary you do for Dr. Bawumia is so sweet. That is the reason why I always say that you always try as much as possible to make your listeners comfortable. Thank you for the great documentary for our next president of the Republic of Ghana. This one is from John. He says, this is my first time sending a message. Paul, you are great and I pretty much love your program. Keep it up. John from USA. Last one, Alhaji Hussain says, Paul, when the removed MP was applying for Canadian citizenship, until he was granted and received his passport, tell me the number of documents he stated that he was a Canadian before he was given the passport. Until then, that would be the only way we can say that he's a Ghanaian, when his Canadian citizenship was still in the pipeline. We cannot allow someone who doesn't believe in the law to make laws for us, period. Wow, that is one opinion on that particular topic. Anastasia.
Okay. All right. So coming from Manny Kaba, he says, Paul, you are absolutely fantastic in your delivery in this documentary. Coming from Umar Farouk, my reasons for supporting DMB Dr. Bawumia was the key member of government technical negotiations for HIPC in 2001. Team successfully negotiated $4 billion relief for Ghana that helped President Kufuor stabilize the economy. Coming from Bennett Danso, good evening, Mr. Paul. Your documentaries on our politics, key political figures and democratic governance, and your eloquent narration on the events in the documentary is always a delight to watch and is listened to. I encourage you to put all your documentaries together as a full documentary. Coming from Manuel Dakum, Dr. Bawumia has exhibited total loyalty towards the MPP and has defended the party in thick and thin. He has shown beyond reasonable doubt that he has the capability and ability to lead Ghana to the promised land. It is possible. And lastly, from Umar Farouk, Dr. Bawumia as Vice President and Head of Economic Management Team, the buck doesn't stop with him. As Head of Economic Management Team, he is part of a team. As Vice President, he is a member of the Cabinet. The Economic Management Team is advisory body to the Cabinet. Cabinet itself is advisory to the President. The fact still remains that Dr. Bawumia's vision, ideas and plans still remain and is still relevant, and given the chance as President, inshallah.
All right, so coming from Opoa Sante Albert, he says, God bless Reverend Steve Mensah and all who have contributed in any small way towards this altruistic cause. God bless Reverend Steve Mensah. Coming from Farouk Tema, he says 2024 presents the MPP unprecedented opportunity to break the 8. Achieving such greatness will require the MPP to do what it hasn't done before by taking a novel decision in presenting a Notna as its flag bearer. A DMB-JDM face-off will be an election fit for the gods. If the MPP means business, then Dr. Bawumia must be our flag bearer. He will comfortably retire ex-President Mahama from his presidential ambitions. That is coming from Farouk Tema. From Tijani Al-Hassan, he says, DMB is the next to lead. He has demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that given the opportunity, he can lead and lead us to the promised land. From lastly, from Alex Nyanko, he says, Paul, kudos for this educative analysis. Again, whenever Chairman Wuntumi enters your studio, kindly thank him for MPP at large. Chairman Wuntumi is in fact Lionel Messi in winning elections for MPP. We are proud of him. Back to you, Paul.
The election yet. He hasn't won the election yet. I don't know whether he's going to win. His supporters wish him well. But I just like his energy. I mean, look at the energy of the guy. Have a look again. See this video. Wuntumi is there in the NDC stronghold of Breku, in the town of Breku in the Assin North constituency, in the NDC stronghold. And he's dancing. He says, no NDC. In the NDC place. Have a look. Good luck to all candidates in the Assin North election. We will be there to bring you the proceedings on Tuesday. It happens to fall on our program day, so hopefully we'll be there. Hello. Alaji, how are you?
Fine.
Who is talking about his administration will govern only on your behalf? Is he going to be talking to the people on radio or what?
This is Bola Tinubu. I think this is an excerpt from what he said during the swearing-in. And I think it was timely, because if you look at the results, he performed very bad in the East. So there's this kind of resentment against APC in the southeast of the country. So it's a form of assuring people that in as much as this part didn't give me the vote, I'm still going to be, what do you call it, attentive to them. And then looking at the kind of the Buhari style, he's trying to different from distance from himself from Buhari. And I think he's done that perfectly well.
Oh, that's what he means by we will not rule over you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more like people felt like Buhari wasn't giving people the, if you remember the case of IPOP, and then how, what do you call this guy, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was bundled and what do you call it?
Yes.
And I think in that particular issue, I've always said that I think Buhari actually made a Mandela out of a Hitler. Because had it been the case where Nnamdi Kanu was not arrested in the manner in which he was arrested, I think he would have just been a fringe what you call voice on the street. By arresting him, you give him that chance to appear to be victimized, and that give him that kind of. But this is Bola Tinubu trying to be his man, and I think so far he's been very decisive, very deliberate, and very calculated in his policy so far, not to associate himself with Muhammadu Buhari in terms of style, but then maintain that that form of continuity from APC in terms of the good work. So if you look at one of the things he did was to fire the governor of the central bank.
Fola Shodun.
No. This is the acting governor he appointed.
So this Fola Shodun,
Fola Shodun, Adebisi Shonubi.
He's the new acting governor.
Yeah, he has not been.
But why you say firing the governor of the central bank is a good thing? Why do Nigerians see it as a good thing?
So far, I think he's in a consolidation state. He's trying to be himself. There was this controversy about Emefiele himself. In some of
who is Emefiele?
That's the former governor. Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of the Naira redesign.
Yes. That controversial matter in the period of the election.
Yeah.
That was devastating.
Some people felt it was Emefiele trying to undermine Bola Tinubu's
chances of winning the election,
or
the APC candidates for that.
And then secondly, constitutionally, the position is supposed to be apolitical. But remember, during the primaries, he announced his intention to buy the farms. Actually,
the governor.
Yeah, the governor. So from the onset, I think that is quite, what do you call it?
So Tinubu has fired him.
He has been fired.
And his deputy has been asked to act.
One of his deputies.
Okay.
So he is in charge. He was in charge, deputy governor in charge of operations of the central bank.
Okay.
So he was.
I see.
And then, unlike Muhammadu Buhari's policy of intervention in terms of the economy, the exchange, the Naira itself.
Yeah.
So one of the things he did was that he replaced the central bank, the governor so far, and then the removal of subsidies.
The fuel subsidies.
Yeah. This is actually not Tinubu's policy technically, because by the middle of this year, by June, ending of, I think, the subsidy was removed last year, but then Muhammadu Buhari's government allocated a budget, an amount of money to cushion what you call the removal of subsidy. So by the time Buhari was leaving office, subsidy was already out of the system. So what he did was he continued.
He's implementing it.
Yeah, he's implementing it.
Okay.
And the argument is that the subsidy has always.
But he seemed to have said it during the campaign that the subsidies will go away.
He was re-emphasizing it.
Okay.
But people thought that was. But if you look at by law, what
has happened? Yeah, it's already gone.
It's already gone.
A year
but the government just allocated an amount of money to cushion
for 1 year, and after that the cushion is gone.
It's gone. And then the removal of what you call it, exchange rate control.
What does it mean?
During Muhammadu Buhari's time,
okay.
We had two recessions. One of the things he did was that to prevent the slide of the Naira,
he did an exchange
rate
control.
Multiple exchange rates, or the black market, you have a different rate.
Okay.
So, but then.
And Tinubu is going full demand and supply, like Ghana's own.
Yeah.
Forex bureaus, they decide.
Yeah, well, he made an announcement of the removal. That's what the central government announced. But then later, when questions arise, so the argument was that it's going to be a partial floating of the Naira.
Okay.
So in as much as the control has been removed.
They may be doing a rebasing to remove some zeros then.
Yeah, but then the government still retained the privilege or the prerogative of either intervening at
a time when they want to.
When they want to.
Okay. I see the point. So they've deregularized it.
Yeah.
But they can intervene when it becomes important.
What they said.
Yeah, that's a very good policy actually. If we did that in Ghana, we wouldn't have had the calamity that we had some time ago. Okay.
This was when they announced. And then when you look at another interesting thing is the development is that when you look at the current Senate and the National Assembly, I think unlike the chaotic start we had in the first term of Muhammadu Buhari, where APC had majority, but could not have their chosen candidate as Senate President. Saraki became the Senate President through the vote of some PDP members, and that created rancor within what you call it, APC at the time. This one around, APC and through Tinubu's, what do you call it, has been able to succeed in imposing the party decision on the members of the legislature. Because the list they had, the zoning, is actually what happened. Despite the fact that
So are you suggesting APC is more united behind the president, or is that the point you're making?
I think there was division within APC. There was this strong competition among geopolitical zones. But what happened is that, as usual, Tinubu has a way of breaching the gap through dialogue, consensus. He was able to finally get. Because unlike the 9th assembly, this current one, the electing the leaders was more chaotic. You have a lot of people opting or vying for positions, unlike even the past. But then finally, Akpabio was given the Senate president, which is the party's wish. And then Honorable Tajuddin Abbas became the Speaker of the House of Representatives, which is equally the party's wish. So, and then another thing we need to look at is last week I made mention of two persons.
Hey, this man, Nuhu Ribadu. The former EFCC guy who ran away.
Yeah. You know, last week I said something that there was this rumor about his appointment and that of Hamza al-Mustafa.
Then, or have they been appointed recently?
No, then, last week, I made that there was rumor, but then we haven't confirmed the report.
Yes.
But now we have confirmed the appointment of Malam Nuhu Ribadu
as
the National Security Advisor.
Whoa, that's interesting.
And then this is
that is so interesting.
Then it's significant in two ways. One, it's a break from the recent history of Nigeria appointing national security advisors with military background. He's from a police background, more of a civilian. And then so those who have argued that people with a more broad spectrum understanding of security and the fact that Nigeria has having internal security problem, not external, civilians should be appointed, have succeeded.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And secondly,
if your national security problem is domestic, which is what it is in many countries today,
this also falls within Tinubu's known record of rewarding loyalty.
Nuhu Ribadu had been his man.
If you remember 2011, if I'm not mistaken, the year, ACN, then Tinubu's party, presented Nuhu Ribadu as presidential candidate.
After he had his difficulties.
Yeah, after he left.
But is it not like a snub to Atiku? Is it not Atiku who had a difficult relationship with Nuhu Ribadu, or was it Obasanjo?
Obasanjo.
It was Obasanjo.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it?
But I know at the time.
Okay, so is it not giving Obasanjo a sort of snub?
No, but they were cool. But then for him to have been given and picked as a presidential candidate of ACN, it tells you the kind of trust and relationship that exists between he and Tinubu.
Yes, I get that analysis, that Tinubu is rewarding loyalty, but I'm looking for another set of analysis that is Tinubu was rewarding loyalty, trying to give Obasanjo others a bloodied nose and say, look, the guy you didn't like, I'm going to make him the boss.
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah.
But then, so far so good. I mean, you look at that, the significance of that. And then,
but civil society will be excited with this appointment.
Sure.
Very much. I mean, many young Nigerians will be very excited with this.
He had an impeccable record.
Absolutely. I've seen his videos and I've seen how he was threatened and they almost killed him.
As a pioneer chairman,
he left
EFCC.
Nigeria and all that. Okay, that's interesting.
But then, if confirmed, so now the one we cannot be sure that has not been confirmed or something commented about is whether Hamza al-Mustafa will be given NIA or DSS. But so far, Yusuf Bichi.
What's NIA, what's DSS?
Department of State Service, which is a self-styled name, but the official name is State Security Service, SSS, which is more like the secret police of Nigeria.
Okay, and NIA is what?
National Intelligence Agencies.
Okay, but who is Hamza al-Mustafa? Who is he?
That's a controversy here. Hamza al-Mustafa is actually Abacha's boy. He was Abacha's chief security officer. So there are those, and he was Abacha's henchman.
Really?
Even when he was...
So his hands are bloodied?
Allegedly,
quote unquote,
because you know after the death of Abacha, he was actually incarcerated by Obasanjo's regime almost throughout the entire 8 years.
He was in jail.
Obasanjo. Yeah,
for the period Obasanjo was president.
Yeah, accused of involvement in the murder of Kudirat Abiola.
Abiola's wife.
Abiola's wife.
First wife.
And some other what do you call it, extrajudicial killings. And then looking at the relations between Tinubu and Abiola, so if confirmed, that could be a bit of...
Oh, I get the analysis you're bringing out. Tinubu is a political son of Abiola. This is the man who was accused of killing Abiola's wife.
Yeah, you know, they build their political...
Obasanjo doesn't like Tinubu that much. So at this point, Obasanjo is going to say that, you see, Bola, the guy who made you, we have incarcerated the person who murdered his wife, and you are giving him an appointment.
Even not Obasanjo, you know, the Yorubas have not...
I've not forgotten
Abacha
for the murder of Abiola.
But then...
Neither have they forgiven Babangida for annulling that election.
But then that would be the only problem with his appointment.
But it's a big problem. It's not necessarily only, but it's major.
But in terms of his expertise when it comes to intelligence, nobody can deny the fact that the guy is just too good.
I'll take a little bit away from that. If he was in charge of intelligence, how did Abacha get killed by international people? That's a poke in the intelligence balloon.
There was no autopsy, so there was no verification or confirmation of what killed Abacha.
Oh, but it was very highly suspected that he had eaten an apple that had been poisoned, and international people had been in because Abacha had a fleet of visitors, quote unquote, from Latin America.
Sure.
And he had enjoyed these visitors from Latin America. And these visitors carried whatever was used to to take him out. If this intelligence man is the main intelligence person, really, that's something he should think about. But anyway, go on.
But then you see, if you look at him also, I think him and Obasanjo had an issue, because even as a junior officer in the army, he was empowered by both Abacha and even the preceding regime of Babangida.
I see.
That when he was even a captain, he was so powerful that his nominal superiors within the army were afraid of him.
Maybe his father, was his father a general or something?
No. He was just known to be very good. So
okay.
he had the trust of both leaders.
I see.
So he was Abacha's chief security officer, even when he was the chief of army staff.
Oh, I see.
So they go way back.
Okay, let's keep an eye on this one. That's very important.
Yeah.
Let's keep an eye on it. What next?
So now, that would be another controversy. And then if you look at even within the security architecture, he did some reshuffling. But then he tried as much as he can to spread the tentacle to make sure no one region emerged too powerful.
Okay.
And these are some of the names. Okay, Nouri Bado as National Security Advisor, Christopher Musa as Chief of Defense Staff, himself, this is another Northern Christian from Southern Kaduna, T.A. Lagbaja, Chief of Army Staff, E. Ogala, Chief of Naval Staff, which is more like an Igbo person, but there's been debate about whether it's actually Igbo or closer to Igbo.
I see.
It's one of the issues on social media. But if you look at the spread, so these are
the military appointments.
Yeah, these are the security, the couples.
Okay, so let's look at the map, map spread.
Let's look at these two key figures now. One, Buhari adopted this fire for fire approach. So by bringing people with crack experience on the ground, that is Tinubu continuing that fire for fire approach. He was in charge of anti-banditry operation. There was this dangerous bandit attack from along the Abuja-Kaduna highway. So, what do you call it? The current chief of army staff was in charge of that clearance operation, so he has understanding. And then Christopher Musa was in charge of Operation Hadinkai, which is the counterinsurgency operation in the northeast. And if you look at the appointment, it's more balanced because while this one is experienced about the security situation in the northeast, he's been given the CDS, and he is in charge of banditry operations, so it kind of balances the security architecture. And then, so that shows that, and then once you have a civilian national security advisor, so it shows you one, he's trying to pursue the fire for fire approach with a more...
It's not completely civilian, but there's a police COP. Nuhu Ribadu.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then the balance here is that, one, you have an element of that fire for fire approach with a more civilian, what do you call perspective, try to understand the bigger picture.
Technical,
so
actually.
More like a balanced...
Yeah, I guess it's...
A balanced approach. Unlike the previous Buhari government of fire for fire. And if you look at the spread, almost every region has a share. So you have, what do you call it?
And in Nigeria, the leadership of the security is important, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very important.
Okay.
And then if you really look at the fact that the chief of defense staff is from Kaduna State.
Southeast didn't get much.
Southeast has...
Oh, okay. So they have the naval
staff,
and that.
And then south.
The Igbo is where?
It is Igbo, southeast.
Okay.
So they had one. And then this is south.
Okay.
And then this is southwest. And for a long time the southwest didn't get it. And then this is northeast. So it's more like in as much as not everyone is satisfied, but then it paints.
Has he appointed his ministers yet, Tinubu?
So far, we've been hearing rumors here and there.
But did they do a formal process like us going through the Senate for hearing?
They go through the whole process.
Okay, so
but it's more like let me say nominal, because the problem is that each state must be represented of the federal character. So you have, but then Tinubu is trying very much to balance loyalty with competency. That's one very important thing he's known for. And one thing you can't take away from Tinubu is the fact that he identifies talent, he empowers talent, and he utilizes talent. So will he be the same? But then so far so good. He's been precise, effective.
What's Fashola going to be doing? Is that his name? The Lagos governor?
The ex-Lagos governor.
Yeah, what's he going to be doing?
Well, he was Minister of Housing in the erstwhile government, so we don't know what will be his position. And then you have Ambodi, who was there before Sanwo-Olu. And then if you look at the secretary to the government of the federation, being a northerner, and then a northern Christian from Benue State, and then the chief of staff, being a Saudi Muslim, it balanced the religious picture. It equally shows a balanced approach where competency matters, but loyalty equally matters. So let's see the outcome of that.
Let's see what's in which it might be fodder for something for some of us in Ghana. We have another presentation. Those of you who have heard about this unfortunate story about the Titanic, isn't it? The Titanic sank many years ago. We have heard a story over the last 2 years, very chilling story, that some billionaires decided to go down to what they call the seabed, and currently we are not so sure of their fate. Michael Angelo has been looking at the story, and he'll come on the touch screen to present it after the commercial break. Here's our commercial break now.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Yamawakwaba, the button Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie, a bano KSC near Wakadia. Ubenya Viviaha. Kabian in the house, any new here. Yansu ye were winning before, or best son we amount. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye jume die. 24/7 ye CCU engine, brake, battery, yes a tie. Say bano car wash dia. Je wo abefun fidelity say steamer ye the whole car engine abra nsuon core engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre say ye betwitwu car no mu ba bia ma. Ye wi a ya san polish car na ma kama. Enye we no munku ye san to car batteries, tires, rims, any de keke kan. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories Emma o car ensi ne dadem na nwu adwuma ma. Hwehwe ye chira kwan wo dansoma na sorry dan ho a any KFC bon hwanimu e won kran. Se wo information anansem bi se bia. Fresh 024-651-9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories.
Stand to win your share of up to 10 million Ghana cedis in prizes with Betway's Scratch and Win. You can earn your first scratch card by playing table games, slots, or quick games. Scratch and reveal a range of exciting prizes from smartphones to fuel vouchers and more. Visit www.betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
A state-of-the-art facility built with your family needs in mind. A medical center positioned for all your fertility problems and other diseases. Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Our goal is to help our patients achieve and maintain optimal health. We have fully functional OPD laboratories in all our branches. Do you have problems urinating? Medimosis is the ultimate solution. Our Prostacure X capsules and Prostacure Herbal Tea treat prostate problems. Afromosis capsules gives you maximum performance, and for the ladies, Femacure X capsules solves all your menstrual problems. Locate Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center at Adenta Barrier near the traffic light. Ashaman, Ajekojo, Kumasi, Ahirima Kokobing, and in Accra, Ministries after the Ghana Highways Yard. Call 0244-068-447. We accept National Health Insurance card and all other private insurance card. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center, your ultimate solution for prostate problems.
Do you need a place with a stunning view and serene environment just beneath the Green Mountains with a commercial center and recreational area with an amazing park? Then look no further.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, the most affordable yet luxurious gated community located in Damfa, Accra. We have 2 and 3 bedroom houses with spacious park. Let me show you. All of our rooms come with beautiful porcelain tiles, durable fitted kitchen cabinets,
constant water supply.
Electricity and water 24/7.
I'm buying this house. Stop processing my papers. Eh? Move it, move it. If you're living in Ghana and want an affordable and luxurious house to buy, look no further than Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. Oh, and to those from the diaspora, aren't you tired of living in places that doesn't belong to you? You can also own your house and be your own landlord from Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. I have my own, Bosu Landlord.
Contact us now. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Welcome back to the show, and I'm very disappointed and sorry about this story. Let's get onto the touch screen very quickly, and let's hear from Mikael Angelo, who has been looking at it. I gave you, will you take this off? Yeah. Please, can you change the screen? I gave you a hard time by giving you this assignment quite late, but I'm sure that you put something together quickly. So the story, viewers, is that a certain group of people had gone to, let me grab the LPM. All right, sorry, viewers, about the camera work. Sorry about that. All right, certain people are losing their lives in the sea coast. We'll look at it in a minute. But before then, let me read this LPM. So you have to, viewers, enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. As we know, as human beings, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. So you know this equipment that we have been advertising here, where you can sit in it, it becomes a lift and takes you up in your house for those who have aged parents who cannot walk and have to be helped to walk. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use your stairways day in and day out. Worry no more, our people say, because with the Portable American Pneumatic Vacuum Elevators, PVEs, Portable American Pneumatic Vacuum Elevators, you are sure of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and all your homes. It is a simple-to-use self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at home and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to choose from. You may call it luxury, but it is necessary. It is a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Please call this number 0200, that's 0200 535 515, or email at elevatorsgh@gmail.com, at elevatorsgh@gmail.com, or call 0200 535 515. Okay, let's get back to the story. And the story is that let me hear. What's this on the screen?
Yeah, so this is the wreckage of the Titanic, as you can see.
So what's the Titanic?
The Titanic, so it was launched in 31st May 1911, and at the time it was the largest passenger ship for that time anyway. Mm-hmm. And so the tragedy was in the next year, that was 1912, 15th April, it crashed into an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean. It broke apart and sank about 12,000 feet down.
Why is the North Atlantic? When we say North Atlantic Ocean, where is that?
North Atlantic. So we have, get my bearing straight. So the Pacific typically would be around the Americas. That would be closer. The Atlantic the Mediterranean, I believe, is on top. And then the Atlantic then would be below. Is that below Africa?
Yes.
Yes. So the North Atlantic.
The Atlantic Ocean is below Africa, yes.
Of course.
Goes to Australia, India, and then the Indian Ocean takes over.
Okay. So North Atlantic would be like more sort of within the boundaries of the Ghana, Nigeria,
the Gulf of Guinea.
South of
the Gulf of Guinea.
South of that region.
Okay.
So it's within that area that about 12 sources vary, about 11,000 to 12,000 to 30,000 feet down, it sank to the bed of the ocean floor within that area.
It had people in it.
Actually more than 1,500 people died. Passengers and crew died on board the ship.
So this is the wreckage?
That's the wreckage.
Where are we getting this photograph from?
So this is from the internet. This quick research, we got it from...
Who is able to... So this photograph is at the seabed?
This is the seabed. It's not easy to get shots like this. But you see, so this is why one of the problems we're seeing today. This was probably captured by an unmanned ship. It's safer to use these unmanned ROVs, remote operated vehicles, to go down and capture this, because it's not safe for human beings to be down there, not safe at all. The pressures down there are up to about 6,000 pounds per square inch. If you go down there. So for reference, the pressure on the surface of the Earth is about 14.7 pounds per square inch. If you go down there, 14.7, as we're standing right now, pounds of force is acting on us. If we go down to the bed of the ocean, that's 6,000 pounds per square inch. It will crush you into pieces.
Oh, I see.
So you need to be in a ship to get down there. So that was the issue. But the thing is, these are treacherous waters. Human beings were not meant to go down, but we're defying nature. And unfortunately, this is one of the things we're seeing.
We'll get there. Let's get this slow by slow. So this is so what's this? The Titanic?
So this is the Titanic.
This is how it looked like.
This was the Titanic before it crashed. This is a render of the crash, because obviously no one was there to capture this the way it was happening.
Okay,
so this is just the model. This is
original
the
Titanic.
beast. So the Edward.
It was sailing with passengers, like a cruise.
Passenger cruise ship.
And they crashed into what?
They crashed into an iceberg.
And that's 1912.
Broke it. This was 1912. And it's actually spurred a lot of change in terms of the international maritime safety standards, spurred them to act.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what has happened?
So this is the issue.
Yeah, the new matter.
This is the issue. So it says that the submersible operated by this company, Ocean Gate. Ocean Gate is a luxury company.
No, before then, what's a submersible Titan?
A submersible. Well, we'll get into it. A submersible is like a submarine. It's a vehicle used to explore the depths of the ocean. Typically, submersibles are not manned. No human beings are in there. But because humans want to explore, they've created it to allow about up to 4 or 5 people to be within. So it's like a small submarine for people. And the Titan is an example of a submersible.
Okay.
It's we'll get to the measurements. It's about 22 feet across. It's like the size of, you know, our trotros, the small trotros. It's like the small one. It can contain up to like 4 or 5 people. So it's operated by this company, Ocean Gates, which is one of many, which allow people to actually go down to the depths of the ocean to explore. But this is not just for like normal people like myself. Maybe for someone like you. You can go down there, because you are wealthy enough to go. It's not easy. You see,
by the grace of God, it costs a lot of money to do. That's what you mean.
$250,000 to be on board this ship.
So, like the tickets, it's $250,000.
Yes, and even then, it's not just having money, but it's a very selective process. So even like the elites of the elites gets to unfortunately go and lose their lives in situations like this. So yes, it says it was supposed to visit the hulk of the Titanic, which is about 12,500 feet below the surface of the Atlantic. But that was Sunday. Now, this is the report that about 1 hour, 45 minutes after it set off, they stopped hearing from it. I'm hearing other reports saying that they were still hearing communications, but officially...
1 hour, 45 minutes from when they set up on top of the sea.
From when the submersible set off. It seemed they stopped hearing from them.
So they set up and they are going down. They're going down, like the plane is going up, they are going down.
Yes, so as the PSIs are acting on them in a linear manner, like so the deeper you go, the more the pressure goes.
Okay.
So it says that there was some sort of incident or malfunction that caused them to stop communicating, which is very strange because apparently, according to sources like the Washington Post, CBS, if there's any small malfunction, they immediately shut the trip, they immediately shut it down.
And come back up.
Like a normal airplane flight. Yes. Small problem, you land instantly. But nothing like
that.
So
they shut and come back up?
They would have if there was a problem.
Okay.
But there was nothing like that, which is very strange. So it suggested that the experts were saying perhaps the problem that occurred was so grave that they couldn't go back. It was an instant shutdown.
Oh, I see.
So the theories are the ship imploded. The force of the pressure within the bottom of the ocean was so much that...
But by the 1 hour, would they have gotten to the bottom of the ocean?
I don't think that would be enough time to descend up to like 12,500 feet. Because, the dive...
So that means the accident occurred in the middle of their journey. They didn't quite get there.
It's not clear because there was not enough communication to know. There were some reports that apparently the ship hadn't been serviced. They had made many trips. So maybe, but it's not. None of these are substantiated.
So by the time they were setting up, they knew that the mission was to go to the seabed to observe the Atlantic.
Yes, routine trip.
But they've done this before?
They went multiple times.
The same people?
There are people, not the same people specifically, but there are different people. One of them...
And they've all gone to see the Titanic already?
Some of them have. Some of them is their first time. Yeah, seen the wrecks. There are people... One of them actually has a world record for diving so deep and in a specific period of time. We'll get to it. So let's move on. Yes, so these are the people, unfortunately. At this time, it seems that they are dead because the report said that by early Thursday, they would have run out of oxygen. And right now, it's evening, unfortunately.
Early Thursday today?
Early today.
They will be running out of oxygen based on the oxygen they have?
Yes.
And,
unfortunately.
So the Titanic sub-crew believed... The crew?
The crew.
These are the crew,
yes.
This is not the guest?
No, these are the people. Well, the guests and the crew.
So how many crew?
5. Only 5 people can be on the ship. So
but who is the crew and who is the one who's bought the ticket?
So this was Stanton. Sorry, Stockton Rush. He was the CEO of Ocean Gates. He was the pilot of the ship.
Okay.
The rest of them, they paid for the ticket to be on. So we have also these. We'll get to these. Let's just move on quickly.
Yeah.
Right, so this is it. It says the debris was found by the U.S. Coast Guard. So the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, and then some other international agencies were helping to find the ship as it fell. And it says that we've been speculating. The theory was that the carbon fiber hull, it's carbon fiber and titanium, somehow imploded and killed everyone. So apparently they're saying potentially it was good news because at least they died quickly. They didn't suffer. Because what would happen if you are in this situation and you're running out of oxygen? It's theorized that the ship ran out of electricity because of some function.
So they think the thing just blasted?
No, it just imploded. That's one theory. Another possibility.
And it happens within a minute?
It's not even a minute, but then potentially it's something that you can't stop. Once it's started, you can't stop to say, let's go back to the top. Maybe
I get that. I'm talking about the way they are speculating that if they are dead, the way in which they may have died.
At the implosion.
Yes.
Well, we can't be sure. Because it could
but that's how the thing looks like?
This was the ship. We've got more pictures.
All right.
So
let's move on.
Yeah, so these are the crew. This is how it would look. You see, it's 4 people with there. You can fit about 5 people. It's not a very comfortable.
Okay, this is how they sit in there.
This was them inside. And they're going to watch. And you see, you can't
going
really
to watch
see.
What?
You're going to watch the wreck of the Titanic.
Okay.
There are no windows because of the pressurization issue.
So how would they watch it?
There are cameras, so they watch through a camera. Even there's not even, you pay $250,000 and you can't even see it. You have to watch it through a camera.
Through a video, but you are near it. You're near.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So this is them. So this is the ship.
Okay.
This is it.
Okay.
This is it. Yeah.
Wow.
So this is how a human being would look. This was the structure, as you can see. It's supposed to be able to go down about 13,000 feet with 4 passengers, 1 pilot, moving at 3.5 miles per hour downward, and they had oxygen to last 4 days, or I think 97 hours. So then it said as at a certain time today, they would have been running very, very low on oxygen.
So as of Thursday morning, they should have, if everything went well, they should have been returning up. They should have come up by.
They would have, yes.
Okay.
But because of the issues, you see, as I was saying, thankfully, perhaps it seems they died quickly. If they had died slowly, what would have happened was they would have suffered hypercarbia, which is basically carbon dioxide poisoning. They would have suffered hypoxia, which is lack of oxygen to tissues and blood, then anoxia, which is severe hypoxia. So it would have been a very torturous, horrible death. So perhaps if they died instantly, it's a bit more merciful. Yes, again, another picture of the ship with the dimensions and the depth, 4,000 meters or 13,123 feet, about 22 feet, like I said, like our small trotros. Yes, so what to know? Basically, the submersible going to explore the Titanic went missing after it lost contact about 900 miles off the east of Cape Cod. Now, Ocean Gates has been organizing, as I said, it's routine since 2010. It's not anything new. So it's interesting that this would happen. And that it says that, so the submersible, as I explained, it's a type of vessel, like a submarine, that goes down. Typically, human beings are not supposed to go, but then because we want to see the bottom, we've allowed, since the 1980s, people have been doing this sort of thing. Yes. It says that the search effort could be the deepest search in history. The first time, obviously, because we don't really do this often. So the first time we try to recover people. And the sub has a limited supply of oxygen, just about 4 days. So you can't really do much. And again, like the size of a minivan, or in Ghana we call them trotros. Yes, and so the 5 people, well, we see the people who perished in this unfortunate tragedy. There was the CEO, Stockton Rush, who was the pilot, and then 4 other individuals like Hamish Harding. So this is Stockton Rush, the CEO of Ocean Gate. He was estimated to be worth $12 million. Now, these people weren't really like high profile like that, so some of the sources talking about their net worth are not confirmed, but it's rumored he was worth $12 million. He was the pilot of the Titan, and he was age 61. Again, we have to be sure to really cross-check the ages because some of them are not so famous that they have certified Wikipedia pages. But then the people doing the reports on them are saying that he was 61. This was Paul-Henri Nargeolet. He was the director of underwater research for a company that was basically the custodian of the Titanic wreck. He was estimated to worth $1.5 billion. And he was nicknamed Mr. Titanic because he was used to this sort of thing. It's not new for him. What's happening?
Okay, I think that you're running out. Oh, can they put it up? All right.
I think we're running out of slides.
Okay, we'll get the details.
Yeah.
But so the confirmation is that they are dead?
Unfortunately, we've seen that they are dead. I do have a video though. I don't know if they have our video talking about somebody who was in a similar situation some years ago. He was able to be rescued. Again, he got trapped down there and was explaining how it felt. He thought he would die because the pilot was trying to move the ship out of the way, and unfortunately, it's like he couldn't. But then eventually, they were able to get out. I don't know if the video is ready.
It's a very unfortunate story. Let's take the. Let's take. Oh no, it's okay. It's too sad. It's too sad. We don't want people to be crying. So it's okay. No video. Okay, let's say the images are back. Okay, so who is this?
Yeah, so this is Hamish Harding. He was a pilot and then he was into aviation. He was estimated to be a billionaire or so, a British man. So he held the world record for the longest time going to the deepest part of the ocean. And he did it in just 4 hours, 15 minutes. So
the longest time?
Yeah, no, yes. So he spent the longest time doing this. So he was a world record holder. So it's not new to him. And this is Shahzadeh Dawood. He, British-Pakistani businessman, worth about $136.7 million. He was into renewable energy and he was very passionate about helping low-income communities right out.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah.